Okay, my loves, turns out you are getting a part two because my Otter app, which is where I record when I record on my phone, has just hit the transcription limit of 90 minutes. Apparently I have a 90-minute transcription limit, and I don't feel like upgrading it today. So here we are. It looks like it rudely cut me off when I was saying, she said that she had an opening on August 21st, that she could potentially get me in if it was just that one big fibroid. And so I ended up, by the time I'm like, okay, let me figure out how to get this record. Let me figure out how to log into the private, where I had just gotten the MRI done. Like, let me figure out how to work their system so I can like access the information. Well, by the time I figured out how to log into their system, the MRI report had already been posted and available. And the MRI said that we're looking at the one big fibroid, which had now grown in the span of a month and a half, had now grown, because it was June and then I got that. No, it was only a month. Within a span of a month, it had grown from 9.1 centimeters to like 9.8 centimeters. And so it continued to grow. And also the MRI discovered that there were also two tiny little babies, as though this fibroid needed friends. It started growing. There were two little tiny babies of 0.7 centimeters, that were also, suggested in this imaging. And so it's like, great, here we go. But I sent the images straight away I sent that report right away to the doctor, the surgeon at Kaiser, as she had requested. And then I, was like trying to figure out, how do I get the records? How do I get the records? I'm running around. I'm trying to like get everything. And I was again just blown away at how quickly everything. I'm like, I'm not driving back up to Dublin to get this MRI, like images. Like there has to be a way within Sutter's system. That was the system that I had gone through, for the private MRI. And it's like, there are way more Sutters in the area. Like, don't tell me I have to drive back to Dublin. And they're like, no, these are the locations you could go. And, they'll give you a CD, blah, 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 all the things. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So I head over to the nearest location to me. I get there. It's a beautiful new facility. And then they're like, well, cause he went to Dublin and we don't know and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, the imaging records department said that I could come here. Please let me know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm anticipating that, cause it says it'll take 1 to 3 days, right? Well, and what ended up happening is once they sorted out that like, yes, they could access those records and they could give me the images, they ended up saying, okay, so do you want to wait for them or do you want to come back? And I'm like, wait for them. They're like, yeah, you could just wait for them. I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to wait for them. I was in and out of there in 20 minutes, including the 10 minutes of confusion of if they could do this or not. And so I am just blown away by how quickly everything is moving. The next morning, I get a call from the Kaiser surgeon, her scheduler. And she's like, I just got a message. I need to call you, schedule this procedure, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hold up, what? And then here are the dates that they were giving me. They were giving me the dates of October 2nd. And I was like, no. October 2nd is not going to work. When the doctor and I spoke yesterday, she said that she has, if it was just this one big fibroid, she might be able to get me in on August 21st. And the scheduler is like, well, I see there is time available that day. I just have to authorize it and approve it, like get the doctor's approval, because it's not enough time, but like I just need the surgeon's approval. I'm like, okay, great. She messages the doctor. I message the doctor. The doctor comes back and says, yes, I do believe based on the MRI, it's just that one big one plus these two little ones. Like, I think it's fine. I think we can get it done. They're trying to contact you to schedule you for August 21st. And I am like, holy fucking shit. Like, wow. I get the images. I take them. Because if you want something done quickly, you have to do it yourself when it comes to dealing with the medical industrial complex, right? I have other friends with chronic illness, and we often joke about how, dealing with the medical industrial complex, being a chronically ill person is literally a full fucking time job. And it's also a really expensive ass job. Like, we do not get paid for this. It is all unpaid labor, and it is literally the equivalent of a full-time fucking job. And so, yeah, I get the records, the CD to where it needs to be, and get the images to where they need to be. And then I did plan to meet in person with the surgeon through Kaiser. And even though I was 99.9% certain that I was going to go with her, because again, I did not get a good fit from the private surgeon that I saw, and friends who have had any type of procedure have all told me that you need to feel 100% comfortable with whoever is going to be doing your surgery. One, because it's surgery, and two, because you're going to be laying there unconscious on a table and you have to really trust them and trust your unconscious body with them for several hours. And so I was 99.9% certain that I was going to go with her. But I was like, let me just see. So I just followed through with the scheduling and all the things as required, cause I did not want to lose that date and have to wait till October 2nd. And so I met with her in person, and I immediately, and this is going to be another podcast episode, but I immediately, when she walked into the room, she just was so disarmed. Her nervous system was in a state of peace and ease, and immediately, there was no charge in her nervous system, and I could feel that. She walked in and she was so disarmed, and it created a sense of peace and safety and security in me and in my nervous system. And again, we revisited the conversation. She answered more questions. We looked at the MRI images together, and that's when I was sold. I was like, this is the person who is going to be doing my surgery. And so that was a couple weeks ago, and everything has moved so quickly, since then and now. And we talked about what happens if I get sick and all these other things. And she told me yeah, don't get sick. Keep masking up, because you'd have to postpone the surgery. And the reason is because they are going to have to intubate me. I'm going to be completely unconscious under general anesthesia. They're going to have to intubate me. If I have any sort of upper respiratory infection, that's going to push it down deeper into my system and could cause pneumonia and other worse issues. And so it's yep, I am going to be taking every precaution necessary so that that does not happen, so that everything is okay and just fine. So yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. And then today, here we are, just 10 days out from the surgery. I have one more iron infusion that's going to happen on Wednesday, in just a day and a half. That's going to happen. And I am on lockdown, yo. I am masking. I'm sanitizing. I'm even masking in my home right now, because the people I live with have jobs that require some people interfacing, and there were already some things pre-scheduled that couldn't be moved. But after much debate, and many conversations and much asking for what I need, we have agreed that now my household is masking up from now until the surgery, to the best of their abilities, of course. And I will continue to take my precautions. I'm still masking up even inside my home. I am even sleeping in the guest room, because I am not willing to risk postponement of the surgery. And also, I'm remembering to include God. I am remembering that God did not bring me this far, and God did not open all of these doors, and God did not miraculously put the timing together so perfectly between mid and end of August 21st. I knew that's when this procedure was going to be happening. And so I'm also being reminded and reminding myself that God did not bring me this far just to drop me. God did not bring me this far just to leave me high and dry. God did not open all of these doors just to tease me and show me what's possible and bully me. God did not do those things. And even though I can trust that God is not going to bring me this far just to drop me, I also have to do my footwork, and I also have to do my part. And so that is what masking and taking precautions and hand washing and all the things and sleeping in the guest room for now, that's what I am choosing to do right now as my part for these precautions. so that we can ensure the best possible chance of this surgery happening and of everything going really, really well. And so if you have made it this far, we are now at an hour and 40 minutes of this episode. If you have made it with me this far, my friends, I am asking and hoping and praying for your love, for your support. Okay, I had to take a brief intermission to check my Instant Pot. But if you have made it this far, an hour and 40 minutes in with me, my heart is so grateful that you have taken the time to be in this with me, to witness this, to hold me, to receive my story that I am for the first time in such tremendous amounts of detail sharing with you. And that if you or a loved one is experiencing any of the things that I have talked about, like I said, my hope and my prayer is that you now are equipped with the knowledge and information that you need to ask for, to advocate for, to take charge of your own health, because the providers in the medical industrial complex are not going to do it for you. They are not going to do it for you. And it sucks that the burden once again gets placed on us, especially as people with wombs, people with uteruses, that the burden gets placed on us again. And my hope is also that if you have made it this far with me, I ask for your prayers. Please pray for the best, most aligned outcome. Please pray for me. Please pray for my medical team. Please pray for my recovery. May this truly be a simple, straightforward, boring ass procedure, with no complications. May the recovery be smooth and swift and easy. May this change the course of my experience of life. You know, the friends that I have spoken to who have had surgeries of the gynecological variety, they have said that they all felt like whole new people afterwards. They're like, I felt like a whole new person. I wish I would have done it sooner. And in my case, I wish that the medical industrial complex did not drop the ball, did not dismiss me, that they took it seriously. And now here I am using my platform to inform and educate you. And hopefully this lands for someone. And so there we have it, my loves. If you have been with me for the entire duration of this episode, even if you had to stop and come back and stop and come back, I truly, truly, truly appreciate your witnessing of me and my story. And if you're listening to this episode and you skipped the previous episode, because I am going to have to upload them as two separate episodes. So if you missed it and you're like, what is she talking about? Then go back and make sure you listen to part 1, the much longer hour and 30-minute episode. Get yourself all caught up and then come back and re-listen to this episode, because there's such valuable information that I have shared today that I believe every single person with a uterus and every single person who loves someone or has a loved one with a uterus needs to know and needs to understand. Because one of the statistics that I learned, and this actually helped me, but since July was Fibroid Awareness Month, circling back to exactly where we started an hour and 43 minutes ago, circling back to where we first started, July was Fibroid Awareness Month. And one of the things that I learned that helped me feel a little less like this was a personal attack on me is the statistic that it takes most people with uteruses 3.5 fucking years to receive an accurate diagnosis of fibroids. 3.5 fucking years of suffering, of not being able to do life, of wondering what the fuck these mysterious symptoms are, of being gaslit and dismissed by doctors who swore an oath to take care of you and to do no harm. 3.5 fucking years to be diagnosed accurately with fibroids. Meanwhile, you are like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I not being taken seriously? There's something wrong, and I know that there is. And so it helped me to feel like a little less of the charge that this was personal, and a reminder that this shit is systemic. The powers that be, the dominant systems in power, they do not care about women. They do not care about people with uteruses. The only thing that uterus is good for is to create more workers to work under the colonial capitalist industrialist system. That's all. That's all a uterus is good for. And they don't care what issues you're having with it. If you're not producing children from it, they don't give a fuck. Or if you're not producing more workers, they don't give a fuck. And so my hope is that my story helps just one of you. And please, 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 you have my permission. I have made the decision to share this publicly on the public podcast. And so you have my permission to share these 2 episodes far and wide with every person that you know and love. My AI system will do what it can to create a really good summary, and I'm going to try to make sure that summary hits all the most important points, so that even if you don't have time to sit here and consume the entire hour and a half, you still get all of the really good, valid information, in the show notes and episode summary. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And my hope and my wish is that more of us are informed. And I mean, of course, my hope and my wish is that the medical industrial fucking complex pulls its head out of its ass and actually does the care part of healthcare. I have a friend who deals with chronic illness, and she sent me a meme that she created herself. She's like, here's the video that I want to, that I wish I had the energy to upload myself. And it was like, where is the care in the healthcare system, right? Because there is a grave lack of care. So of course, my biggest hope and dream and desire is that we return the actual care into the health care system. And until then, until more doctors are truly leaning into the care aspect, that, while we still have to navigate the medical industrial complex, which by the way, creates the conditions where doctors don't actually care, but that actually just push meds and push big pharma's agenda because it's easier than actually doing the care, because these doctors are actually so fucking burnt out with caseloads and patient loads that are so fucking high, and 7 minutes to see people and all the things. But again, that's an episode for another time. So as we are in the cusp of building the world we desire to see, and dismantling the systems that currently exist and creating the new way of being, unfortunately, that responsibility does fall on us to be more educated, more informed, and to know exactly what to ask for and what to advocate for. So if you have been experiencing any of the things that I have talked about, that low levels of fatigue, the lethargy, the not knowing what the fuck is happening, changes in your cycle, even if them fuckers try to tell you, well, you're not bleeding for 10 days. Oh, a normal cycle is between 26 and 35 days anyway. Fuck that shit. You still make them order you the iron test, a ferritin test, and an ultrasound. Okay? And ask your family if anyone in your family has a history of those things. Ask if anyone's had a hysterectomy. You'll know if those things exist. But ask. And take that information to those medical providers. If you've been feeling if your cycles are changing, if you're bleeding profusely, if you're just like, what the fuck is happening? That is not normal. That is not how the human body was designed. And that is an indication that something is up. So take that, information and Unfortunately, we have to be our most fierce advocates when it comes to the healthcare system, aka the medical industrial complex, because otherwise they will gaslight us, they will dismiss us, they will discard us and throw us away, along with our body parts. They will do that because that is the system which we currently reside under. And so take this information, ask for the iron test, ask for the ferritin test, specifically ferritin, ask for the ultrasound of your uterus. And if they refuse to give it to you, you tell them, I need you to document that you are refusing this care that I am asking. And I'm telling you right away, they will turn around and be like, okay, fine. Here, I'm ordering it for you. And so this is a collective effort. And unfortunately, this part of the collective effort falls on us as the people navigating these systems. All right, my loves, I am recognizing that we are now at 1 hour and 50 minutes. My ADHD brain has taken you all over the place, which by the way, apparently when our hormone levels change, like that's why a lot of people that were gifted and talented, high performing women for like most of their lives, especially like gifted and talented in the 80s and 90s, now as they're reaching middle age, there's all this like fucking ADHD shit because estrogen levels are dropping and that shit is throwing off dopamine levels, which is throwing off and totally unmasking all of our ADHD symptoms. And thank God they are now finally fucking studying what ADHD looks like in women, because what they're discovering is ADHD looks different in women and girls. I can go on a whole tangent about that another time. But the point I was trying to make is thank you for thank you for joining my neurospicy brain, my neurodiverse brain as we went on this beautiful ride. And it truly means so much to me that you took the time to be here. Even if you listened on 2x or 3x or 4x, I'm still so grateful that you let me be a part of your life today and every day, and that you bore witness to my story. And again, my hope is, for the bazillionth time, I'm going to reiterate, if you or someone you love has a uterus, please bear in mind what I have shared here and be your own most fierce advocate, because the members of the medical industrial complex are not going to do that for you. Every now and again, you may find a gem, and bless them, and may there be more of them, and may more members of the medical industrial complex remember who they are and why they got into the profession, and may they awaken and arise to the fact that like, oh yeah, I got into this profession to actually care for people, so let me actually do the care part of healthcare. And then of course, maybe, as those of us who are rising in our visionary leadership, maybe we do work towards modifying and adjusting our agricultural system, our food supply system, our food chain, food source, whatever the fuck you want to call it, the earth, the land, all of it, so that we don't even have to deal with these issues. And then the healthcare system can do what they actually want and need to do. Because if you've heard me, the point I'm trying to make over and over and over again is that the same system that creates the problem is the same system that tries to sell you the solution. And that's real fucking fucked. It's fucked. But since you are here with me and we are on this ride together, we're on this ride together. I know that you are here to help us build our new world and a new way of doing things. And so if you are like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin, go and register for my Embody Love workshop. It is my on-demand workshop that teaches you all of the foundational skills and tools and practices that you need. And if you decide like, fuck that shit, I'm over the DIY thing, or like, yeah, I did the DIY thing, I watched the Embody Love, I'm down, like, and I want to work with you for private one-to-one mentorship, coaching, and healing, then absolutely reach out. I will be taking some time off, from actual like sessions, but guess what? I will still be able to do asynchronous coaching, and asynchronous coaching is a part of the packages that I offer. So if you are feeling the desire to be deeply held and met and loved and supported as you are on this journey of your own for stepping into your visionary leadership and regulating your nervous system and dismantling those systems of supremacy culture within you so that you can go out there and cleanly do your work to dismantle those systems out there, knowing that you are doing it from a clean place because you've dismantled it inside, then reach out. SharaniMPhatak.com. Your whole curated journey is there. The link is in the show notes. And I'm so grateful that I will soon be experiencing relief and be able to hold you and support you on an even deeper level. So do not hesitate to reach out. I will respond. We will. If you are like, Sharani is it, I have to work with her, great. I'm here for it. It's just going to look a little bit differently from the get-go. And that's great because what I do is provide bespoke packages custom made to every individual anyhow. So with that said, my love, here's my ADHD goodbyes, right? That take for fucking ever. I love you so much and we are in this together. That's me blowing you kisses. Take really good care until we meet again.